eyes on me. We're gonna let the beast out. Caged up, held down for far too long. You ready? Be ready. Breathe in, smell the victory. Breathe out, let go of all the doubt you feel. Believe, reject defeat. Don't ever be afraid to be a legend. When it's on the line, seize the moment when the moment's right. Come on, you're in this fight. Don't ever be afraid to be a legend. Stand the test of time. Seize the moment when the moment's right. Come on, believe you're in this fight. Don't ever be afraid to be a legend. Hold up, are you listening? Focus in, we're looking to make history. Let's go, we know.
Hey, it's Tuesday night. You guys know what time it is. You do, right? It's time for the pregame blitz. Hey, welcome to the pregame blitz on Tuesday night. I am your host, Larry Godwin. Some people call me LG. Some people call me other things that I'm not going to repeat on the air, but that's okay. Been doing this a while and we like to have a good time. And thank you so much for joining in on the show tonight. We got a pretty good show tonight. We're having, I don't know why, but we're keeping having some difficulty getting our guests connected. That's James Wildman Carter and his son, Tory Carter, who has made it to the NFL. And I was looking forward to interviewing tonight. So we're going to send them the regular old school telephone number. And maybe we can get at least one of them connected and do it old school interview style tonight. But anyway, let me go ahead and welcome on to this. Well, let me back up. Push that rewind button. I wish I had a rewind button. How about this? How about just a buzzer? I know that just doesn't come off as well. I need like a beep, beep, beep rewind number for when I mess up to rewind the tape and do it again. So anyway, what I was going to say is, guys, I need to go ahead and introduce our sponsors because these guys are so important and I want to make sure I don't overlook these guys. Commercial Banking Company is our latest sponsor, and we want to thank these folks for coming on board. Guys, if you need personal checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, IRAs, listen, when it comes to IRAs, it's never too early to open a retirement account. If you need a CD, CDs are looking kind of positive nowadays with the stock market taking a nosedive day after day like it's been doing lately, right? But anyway, if you need an auto loan, mortgage loan, business loan, any banking need in the Lowndes County area, give these folks a call, Commercial Banking Company. We also want to thank Steve Nichols, Freedom with Steve Nichols. This is an interesting show. I don't know if you guys are into politics, but Steve has an interesting platform, interesting show that he does every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., where he talks about how he likes to promote, celebrate, and defend freedom. And if that's your kind of deal, then you really need to check this out. Very, very entertaining show. You got to take my word for it. Very entertaining show. He can be found on Facebook, Freedom with Steve Nichols, every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Verizon Wireless. Here's another message. Y'all got it. Got a message like people messing. I'm sorry. I thought that was James Carter messaging me because he and I have been conversing back and forth trying to get them connected on this backstage area software that we have. So it was somebody else. So we want to thank Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. Give Matthew Godwin a call if you have a need for an iPhone, an Android, accessories, or if you have a small business account, several lines that you want to move over to Verizon. He can listen. I know from personal experience, listening to talk to customers on the phone, even during off hours, he's constantly trying to save these guys money. So I'm sure that he can do something for you. Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. Give Matthew Godwin a call. We also remember what I said a while ago about the stock market going up and down? Lately, it's been going down, down, down. So I've been getting, even in turbulent times like this, I like to give my personal financial guy called Kyle Conger. he talks me off the ledge when I'm a little bit nervous about what the market's doing lately. He's like, stay the course, man. Stay the course. Now's actually a good time to buy. And when I say that, make sure you understand I'm not a financial advisor, but I know a good one. Kyle Conger, White Oak Investment. His number's 229-850-8848. We also want to thank these guys, the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. These guys are your certified headache medicine specialists. Give Josh Batson and Justin Haskin a call. If you just need migraine and back pain treatment, guys, these guys know what they're doing. A Shade of Perfection, Tim Neesmith, offers custom shades and blinds. Give Timmy a call at A Shade of Perfection or visit his website, I should say, ashadeofperfection.com, or give him a call at 251-3479. And finally, my drink of choice is Mountain Dew Spark. I don't know why I'm using that voice. I just get super jacked up and excited when I think about this drink. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Rockstar, and Mountain Dew Energy. So we want to make sure we thank these guys. Oh, man, I just saw Tory Carter, future NFL star. Well, what am I talking about? He's already an NFL star. He just showed up in the backstage area, so I can't wait to get him on screen so we can ask him about his journey from Lowndes County to Lee County to LSU, now to the NFL. Really proud of this kid. Of course, you guys know, if you're in the Lowndes County area, you're familiar with James Carter, the Wildman Carter himself. This is Tory's dad. So can't wait to talk to Tory on screen. So we want to thank Pepsi Bottling Company here in Valdosta. So enough of me talking. Let's just get these guys on the screen. George, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Larry? How are you?
Man, I'm all jacked up on caffeine. You can probably tell, tripping on my words. I'm trying to consciously slow my speech down because I'm jacked up on caffeine right now, man.
Well, here, try this when you need a rewind button. I was thinking during the ads, you can kind of go blah, 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 like that. The cool part is when you do it on the show, the closed caption, it blows the closed caption people's mind.
That's right. That's right.
Try sometime.
You're funny, man. Nope, wrong one.
One shot. There it is.
Hey, caller, hold on. You've reached the pregame blitz, so hold on 1 second. I think that's James Wildman Carter calling. Hold on, Wildman. Let me go ahead and introduce some guys on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Justin Haley, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. How about y'all?
Doing good, man. Listen, it's been a couple of weeks since you've been on the show, so I'm trusting that the Lowndes County folks have already settled down a little bit. They're welcoming you back on the airwaves into Lowndes County, so don't mess it up.
Not after I made that Facebook post earlier, that about 6 hours ago.
Lord.
He hit it back up, huh?
Yep.
Hit that rewind button. Let me go ahead and welcome some guys to the screen while we got them on the screen. Tory Carter, are you with me? Tory,
yes, sir. How you doing?
Hey, man, listen. Guys, we are talking to a future NFL stud star on the screen. How you doing, Tory?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing?
Doing good, man. We got your dad on the line. James, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
James, this is going to be I've interviewed a lot of prominent coaches all across the country, modern day, Miami Central, all these guys, all these professional guys. Those have been fun, but guys, I have the feeling this is going to be one of the more fun interviews that we can do. James, I got to ask you, for our audience, do you prefer to be called James or Wildman?
Well, it's just depending on it. James is just fine with me. Wildman comes. I get Wildman. He's going.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, Wildman, listen, before we start asking Tory some questions, I've got to ask you, how did you get the name Wildman? Because a lot of our fans, they're from all over South Georgia. They may not be from Lowndes County that knows the story. How did you get the name Wildman?
Well, it's really because of going down on kickoffs. Because I went on kickoffs, I didn't hold back any. I went wide open. I was going to see if I could bust my face mask on somebody. That's the kind of way I play. And I got one better than I was. So, yeah, that's kind of where Wildman came. I gave, wide open, full blast, and, but, that's who I was in football. It's just I played with a reckless abandon, trying to get after the ball. That's where I played. That's where it came from in high school. And I really don't even know who started calling me that. It just kind of grew.
It went out there and it stuck one day.
Yeah, and I couldn't ever shake it.
I got you. Let me ask Tory a question. Tory, I was reading this article about you the other day, and the writer said that you are like what did he call you? Wildman 2.0.
Yeah, I've been called that a couple times in my career. Like my dad got his nickname. People see how I play, and I try and play, like my dad said, with a wild abandonment.
I got you. So your dad said that that name basically means reckless abandon. Is that your style of play in the NFL now?
Yes, sir. I try and bring another level of energy to the team. I try and go wide open, full tilt, the whole play, finish through the whistle. So that's just how I've always played. That's how my dad taught me to play, and I've just tried to stick to it throughout my career.
I got you. Now, as far as your career goes, we're going to back up a little bit. James, you guys made the decision to I guess I don't know if I guess you did. You made the decision to move over to Lee County during Tory's high school career. So you played for the Lee County Trophy. Tory, how was it playing for Dean Fabrizio over there?
It was very demanding. He expected a lot out of us. He brought another level of focus to us, and I really enjoyed everything that I learned from Coach Fabrizio and what he taught me about going to the next level and how to be a leader. It really propelled me throughout my career.
Gotcha. So I'm just curious, when you were in high school, you were recruited by other schools. How did you settle on LSU?
Coach O, he's a salesman. He's a great salesman. He's a great guy to have around. Brings a lot of juice. I enjoy people that bring a lot of energy. It makes things fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty much that and visiting the Southern hospitality aspect of Louisiana. I really enjoyed. Felt like I was at home. But yeah, it pretty much made it easy once Coach O got the job after he was the interim coach.
Now, I'm having a hard time believing you because I can't understand a word Coach O says. So how in the world did he sell you on that?
I mean, sometimes it's tough to understand them, but the more you're around them, the more you can understand what he said. But honestly, once you get in that atmosphere and culture in Louisiana, you learn how to pick up what they're saying.
Gotcha. So James, when Tory made told you that he was going to LSU, what kind of feelings what kind of emotions were you experiencing? This is your boy. He's starting to live his dream, going to a major D1 SEC school, but it's quite a ways away. So what kind of emotions were you feeling at the time?
Shoot, I was ready to go out there and move with him. What are you talking about?
I hear you, man. I hear you.
There ain't no better place in Louisiana, especially Baton Rouge. You got to think, put 115,000 miles car traveling back and forth to see him. I didn't miss very many.
Wow. Did you say 115,000 miles?
One car. We rode, so that's the process was neat. I knew if somebody would give him a chance.
That's right.
He would do that. I mean, I just knew that. I had to somebody had to give him a chance.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a follow-up question, James. When you drove out there to the games, you know, the games at LSU, I don't know what they call it. Is it called Tiger Stadium or LSU Stadium?
Yep.
So
Yes, sir.
the games at Tiger Stadium are infamous, you know, especially night games. Is it as wild as people? Is it as wild as the reputation that it has?
Yes, sir.
In what way?
I mean, the tailgate. I mean, when there's an early game. I like the early games because if you go all day at it, you won't make it. You know, it's really that fun. Because I had different tailgates. I had 5 different people. I went tailgating at every game. You had to stay a few minutes here and go there, but the people are there so friendly, so fun, and they're wild, and they have a good time, and it was awesome. I mean, there's not if you ain't never been to LSU Stadium, Tiger Stadium, you need to go to one, and then you'll understand why. It's the greatest place on earth to play, I think. You know, and I've been to a lot of stadiums too. That's one of the loudest I've ever been in my life.
I definitely want to see Death Valley.
Hey, Tory, what was your experience playing in Death Valley out there?
Man, it was playing, going to school there, living there. It was the ultimate college experience. Playing under those lights. Whenever I was getting recruited, Coach O, one of his lines he would say is, before the games, you could hear the stadium rumbling, and that's kind of one of those things that stuck with me. And you know, he wasn't lying. Every night game, that stadium was rumbling before we walked out in the tunnel. Just playing in front of all those fans, it was just the ultimate experience. That's everything I thought of that I wanted to do in college.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Tory, as an LSU player. Which team was tougher to play? There's no right or wrong answer here, but which team was tougher to play in the SEC? I'm guessing Alabama and Georgia, but in your opinion, which was the toughest team to play?
Without a doubt, Alabama.
Okay.
Their coaching staff, their structure to how they have their system in place is just unbelievable. And there's no way I could say Georgia. I mean, we tossed them around every time.
Man, oh man, I'm gonna hang up on you right now.
We tossed them around every time.
He gets to go in the penalty box too now.
So, yeah, I would say Alabama. I mean, no matter how much you prepared, how good the game plan was, you went into that game every time not knowing what the outcome was going to be. And, you know, I played them when we didn't have as good of a team, and we, you know, held with them, played with them with a good team and got whacked. So, I mean, that game is it's just different.
Sure. I understand, man. So, what was your most memorable moment at this may be an unfair question. I'm asking you to think back a few years possibly, but what was your most memorable moment there at LSU on a football field?
In Tiger Stadium, that's a tough one. Probably when we beat Auburn, we came back. It was like 21-0 at halftime. We came back and beat them. And this was my freshman year. That was pretty unbelievable experience. But if I'm not considering it in Tiger Stadium, it would definitely be in 2019 playing Alabama at Alabama.
Okay.
And beating them. We had the president there, whole bunch of celebrities. It was crazy. I had never seen anything like it. The Secret Service was at the hotel the night before.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. And then, so that right there is probably my most favorite moment in college is beating Alabama.
Listen, when you were at LSU, not LSU, but when you were at Lee County, really, really great program in 6A. And so, but even with a great program like Lee County and Dean Fabrizio, I mean, you're being recruited for a D1 school. So I got to think that you're probably one of the top athletes there. So you fast forward, you find yourself at LSU. What kind of players did you encounter there at a D1 program?
You really encounter all walks of life. I had friends from the West Coast, from the North, around Ohio. I had guys from New Jersey, guys from the Bayou, uh, guys from South Georgia, uh, South Florida. You have all walks of life. You got people that come from every social class, and then you just kind of see how people develop and what type of mindset they have.
Yeah.
Going into college and just trying to learn from every person you're around, whether that be learning from the good that they do or learning from the bad that they do not to do it, you know?
I got you.
I got
Justin, did you have a question?
Yeah, Tory, I'm just going to throw you a question that's got to do with another NFL player. I don't claim my hometown very much, but we got a current NFL player there. I don't know if you got to see him play in person too much, but it's Leonard Floyd. We're from the same little small town here, 3,000 people. So if you have seen him play, of course, I know you probably played against him, but does he stand out pretty well, even on field level, or just, your thoughts on him?
He plays for the Colts, right?
No, he plays for the Rams.
Yeah, he was a Rams. Yeah. He was a Georgia guy, now plays for the Rams.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. We did film study on him when we were playing the Rams. I actually didn't get to play that game this past year. Yeah, he was definitely one of the guys that was on, the scout report with a star behind him. But I mean, at the NFL level, it's almost like what type of guy are they? Because everyone's good. It's just like, how do they play and how can I counteract it? That's kind of how the NFL is, I've learned.
James, when you when Tory's out there at LSU, gets his first year under his belt, when he goes out there and joins Coach O's staff, when he was in high school, he was probably recruited heavily. He said, Tory said that Coach O sold him on the program. So what were your expectations for Tory going into that program when he first started there, and what were your expectations a couple years later?
Well, I when they were talking to us, Tory, and Tory talking about his favorite play. My favorite play is catching the winning touchdown pass against Florida his freshman year. I about jumped out the stadium, and I kind of told John Holt. He's a big Gator fan. I told him, I said, John, my son's going to catch the winning touchdown pass for the game.
Yeah.
And he said, no, he ain't. And by golly, it happened. I actually told him the night before the game that he was going to catch that out pass that we've been working on his whole life. I said, it's going to happen this game. And it happened, and it was awesome. That was one of my favorite plays. But yeah, we're going back. Coach O and him, they're great staff. He learned a lot. And, they kind of went to the spread his last 2 years, but that helped Tory grow. And I didn't like it, but it helped Tory grow as a player. And I think it really helped develop him for the NFL.
Right. Well, that's cool, man. So let's talk about the NFL. So Tory, let me get you on. So Tory, you make it to the NFL, but you sign with the Tennessee Titans as an undrafted free agent in May of 2021. Now, you were initially waived during the final roster cuts, but then you were signed to the practice squad. What was going through your mind during that time?
During the whole process, you got to be, true to yourself and be confident. But I mean, you got to know it's a business. You can't always be fully vested given your situation.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I did, I just kept working, kept trying to learn, just kept trying to be in the older guys' ear, asking questions. And I knew my time was going to come, and I was going to get the opportunity to, show my worth. And I got that opportunity, I think, week 3, and pretty much ran with it from there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You took full advantage of your opportunity. I guess to all the players and parents and still in high school now, it's like, you may not be starting now, but man, stay prepared and get ready, because your shot is coming, and when it when that spotlight shines on you, Tory, you made the most of it because you sign with the Titans as an undrafted free agent in May, then you get cut in August, the end of August. A few days later, you get signed to the practice squad, and here you are in September making the active roster. So kudos to you, man, for staying focused like that. How tough was that?
I mean, it wasn't the hardest thing I've ever done.
Okay.
Like my dad spoke on before, we moved to the spread offense, and I pretty much lost my position at LSU. So that was a big moment in my career. You know, asking myself like, who am I? What am I doing? So I took that as this is an opportunity for me to play special teams, put this on tape, that I'm good at this. I can do whatever is asked of me. And I'm not a selfish player, you know?
Right.
So I took that. And from then on, like I built a mindset that whatever's in front of me, I'll just take it on and keep a good mindset, stay positive, and stay focused.
Well, whatever you did, it worked. I'm sure your dad James was pulling for you the whole time. So James, now that your son's a star in the NFL, when you moving up to Tennessee?
I like my little spot out here in the out here every day.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So Tory, give us an inside behind the curtain look, man. What are the Titans looking like coming up for this fall?
Oh, well, I mean, we don't have the whole team together yet.
Okay.
We've been doing a little bit of team activity, so we've been together a little bit. Every year it's a different team completely. Every team is different completely. There's different parts to every organization that changes and rotates every year. So, I mean, it's going to be a new team. So once training camp and, veteran mini camp and all that, the mandatory stuff, I'll have a better idea. But I think we're going to be just fine. I mean, our biggest things is running the ball and being physical and wearing out our opponents. So that's kind of what our offense revolves around. So that kind of progresses through the season.
I got you. I got a question for both of you guys. We got a couple of questions left. Hey guys, if you're just joining us, on the screen is Tory Carter. He's had quite a journey from the high school ranks at Lee County, went to LSU, now finds himself in the NFL with the Tennessee Titans. His dad is on the phone with us, James Wildman Carter. If you're from the Lowndes County area, you already know, or you're already familiar with, everyone knows him as Wildman. So that's who's joining us for a brief interview tonight. So thank you to both of you guys for joining us. James, let me ask you a question. When you were playing, you played your college ball at Georgia Southern, right?
Yes.
And so, when you left high school ball, and Tory experienced this as well, when you left high school ball, you went to college. Tory said something a while ago that everybody is good, whether you're at a D1 school or the NFL. And back then, Georgia Southern was the bomb.com.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
They perfected that expression, GATA. Everybody knows what that means by now, right? So
get after them
that's exactly right. So let me ask you guys both the same question. When you're playing at a level where everyone is good, what do you do to give yourself the competitive advantage? How do you prepare for that? James, I'll ask you first. How did you prepare to give yourself that competitive advantage while you were at Georgia Southern?
Every time I put on the field, I left everything on the field, even practice.
Okay.
It didn't matter. If I was training, you leave it all on the field. Whatever you're doing, you give it 100%. You don't lack. You don't skip nothing. Matter of fact, you do a little extra.
Right.
Because other guys going to do something extra too.
Yep.
So what are you? I really boil it down to who wants it bad. Do you have the wants? That's Coach Russell. Do you want it bad enough?
Mm.
And that's what it's up to you. You yourself has got to make the decision if you want it bad enough and what you're willing to pay the price.
Gotcha.
And you will price and just come through work. You got to work.
Yeah.
And I've seen kids don't want to work, and they got all the time in the world, and they don't want to work, to get better. But
well, you could charge for that advice right there for sure.
Absolutely, man. So I'm going to ask Tory the same question. I get the feeling that it's going to be a similar answer, but Tory, what did you have to do at LSU, and especially in the NFL now at Tennessee, when everyone in the NFL is good, even the third stringers are good? Right. What do you do to give yourself the competitive advantage mentally?
It's a mindset. My dad always told me a Henry Ford quote is whether a man thinks he can or a man thinks he can't, he's right. So I try and take that type of approach to everything I do. And like when I was younger, a lot of people were more athletic than me. There was guys that were bigger than me. It was always like that all the way through. But I would beat those guys because I wanted it more than them. I had a different mindset and I knew where I was going.
Well, it's not like, Tory, that you're exactly a small dude. You're 6'1", 250 pounds.
Relatively speaking, you're small.
I worked really hard to get to where I'm at. I was a fat kid whenever I was younger. I'd like to say a little on the thick side.
Okay.
So there's always kids that were faster, stronger, but I never was like, oh, I can't compete with them. It was always like, if they can do it, I could do it, or I could do it better. So I kind of took that mindset from a kid all the way to now. When someone says I can't do something, I can't watch.
All right. So Tory is being modest. I'm going to put on the screen a picture of Tory when he was at LSU. Tory, I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but that ain't exactly small.
Sun's out, guns out, Tory.
I've got one quick. I got the most important question that everybody wants to know. Right. Tory, is Derrick Henry as big in person as what they show on these photographs?
Yes.
The whole Tennessee Titans team is huge. Even the coach. I look around the league. I wouldn't want to mess with Vrabel. He's one of the last people I'd want to piss off.
Yeah, he's an intimidator, that's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, Derrick is a freak of nature. There's not too many guys built like that, man. But he works hard. Like it's not easy to look like that. Like he puts in a lot of time and effort into everything he does to be able to perform like he does. So I mean, some people are blessed a little bit more than others, but
yeah. Tory, final question that I have for you. You've reached not a lot. You've reached just about what every young football player strives for, is to make it to the NFL. What kind of advice would you give to these high school ballers out there that still have a dream in their eye?
Bet on yourself and
that's great.
Take criticism as a compliment and run with it.
Take criticism as a compliment. I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I was always like I said, a lot of people always said I couldn't do stuff, and that was just fuel to the fire for me. So I think that's probably the biggest takeaway, and that's with anything. That's just not trying to make it to the NFL. Like you take that into real life scenarios, and you'll become successful in other ways as well.
I got you, man. That's good. That is good world advice right there.
Life advice.
Socrates.
Great life advice. So, final question for you, James, is listen, first of all, I think, James, you've missed your calling. You probably need to be a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
The second thing is
tandem.
Yeah, exactly. Second thing, Wildman, is final question for you is, what kind of advice would you give to these parents out there of these high school ballers that are being recruited? and what they should expect in the process?
Well, that's process. The camps they all go to, in which I didn't know if I was doing the right thing by going to a camp or not. It's just trying to get somebody to see Tory.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm a dad. That's about what I am. And all I have to do is put my kids to be in the best position to be successful.
Right.
As parents, that as a father, that is my job, is to help my son be in the best position to be successful. So that's all I ever tried to do. And Tory wanted the one to say, come on, Dad, do this, do that. Tory always wanted to come out here and work. Come on, Dad, let's go run routes. Come on. He was pulling me out there, and if he wants it, I'll feed it to him. You know what? That's why I said, if the parents put the kids in the best position to be successful and do the extra things for them. If they're good, they're going to find them. You know what I mean? Kids can be found. Now, the day and age of the computer, how everything's so quick and recruiting is now. So just let them work hard. If they want it, give it to them. Give them everything you can if that's what they want to do. Let them dream big and go for it.
I love that, man. Put your kids in the best possible position to be successful. What a great advice, Peter. Guys, listen, you guys have been watching and listening to James Wildman Carter 1.0 and Tory Carter Wildman 2.0. Guys, both wild men, thank you so much for taking the time out on a Tuesday evening and sharing your time and your experience and your love for the game with the pregame Blitz and our audience. We deeply appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you,
guys.
Hey,
Hey, James, I'm sure I'll see you around Lowndes County. And Tory, when you make it back to Valdosta, man, don't be a stranger. Stop in and see us.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank y'all.
I told you that was going to be a fun interview.
Man, those two are great.
That was fun stuff. I love the things they said, especially what Tory said at the end. He said, take criticism as a compliment.
Yep.
And run with it.
I give a lot of compliments then.
Yes, you do.
Chris Pace, are you listening?
You're fostering a lot of potential.
That's right. See,
professionals.
you take his advice, foster with my criticism. I mean, that's just a win-win.
You are just a misunderstood motivational speaker.
That's right. I'm misread. I'm like a Socrates, but people are just taking it the wrong way.
I got you. So, if you've ever watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, so most people know who Socrates is, but they probably view you as Socrates.
Yes.
Yeah, you are the Socrates of South Georgia.
I didn't know what you was talking about. I got it now.
Probably they probably view me a little worse than that, but that's okay.
I love it, man. Excuse me. That was a fun interview. I thought people would enjoy hearing from a guy that came from South Georgia, made it to the NFL, and what a great story that is. They moved to Lee County just to have a chance for Tory to play football, worked his tail off, and Lee County at the time, Dean Fabrizio's in the midst of building a powerhouse over there. So he's got that team loaded with athletes. Tory works his tail off, starts to play, gets noticed at some camps. Then LSU and Coach O comes calling, sells him on LSU, signs with them, and works his tail off. And like Tory said, LSU decides to go to the spread and he loses his position. So what does he do? He could have sulked, moved back to South Georgia and did nothing for the rest of his life. But he decided to buckle down, work even harder, made it to the NFL as an undrafted free agent. So can you imagine signing up for the NFL draft and you're sitting there through 2-3 nights of draft picks and your name never gets called? And then all of a sudden after the drafting is over with, some of these players that are on the bubble that teams were interested in, but in their eyes weren't quite good enough to make the draft, get signed as undrafted free agents. It's basically a trial. right? You throw a few bucks at them, you have them into camp. If they make it, great. You just found a diamond in the rough. If they don't make it, doesn't cost you very much money. So Tory goes up to the Tennessee Titans as an undrafted free agent, basically. Gets cut at the end of camp, August 31st, before the season starts. But a couple days later, gets signed to the practice squad, which is basically what, a glorified scout team, basically. And then earns a starting spot by game 3. They sign him to a full-time roster, and now here he is living his dream. I love that question you ask him. Is Derrick Henry as big in person as he looks like? You know, when you look at an NFL player on TV, you know they're big people, but they don't look as big on TV. Derrick Henry looks big on TV.
Up against other big people. He looks
big.
And then you see him like shove Josh Norman, like when he stiff arms him and he flies like 10 feet, you're like, oh my goodness. I would hate to hit that guy.
I know, man.
I should have.
He's from Yulee. He's from Yulee too, remember?
Yep.
I may have should have helped him out a little bit and told him what position Leonard played in what team before I set him up on that one. But I forgot how, he just got into the league basically. So Leonard's been around a little while, and I think he had a sack during that Super Bowl game, but he don't stand out. He does, but he doesn't, if that makes sense. He blends in with the defense a lot. So.
Yeah, that's same thing with Ernest Jones, who was a starter on the defense from Ware County, number 50.
Yep.
Same thing. They just do their job and stay in their lane and do it really well.
Yep.
That defense was cool.
And they ain't in the news for doing anything stupid.
I'd be willing to bet you he'll know who Leonard Floyd is in a few weeks after the season starts. Once he has to block some of these guys, it'll become more.
I cannot believe he said Georgia was an easy team compared to Alabama.
What year? When was he? Let's back up.
I was looking at those years.
End of Mark Rick's term, or
early
Kirby days.
Early Kirby days. He was at LSU 2017 through 2020.
So he was there for Burrow, that run was that 19?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I can understand why he would say that, especially in Kirby's early years, but it wouldn't. I mean, I think Kirby played for a national championship in his second,
2017,
third year,
second year.
Second year. Okay. So I can't believe, but
they did on Georgia because Jake Fromm had an off night, and they wouldn't let Fields come in and try to see what he could do with that LSU defense. So that's on Kirby, but that's another conversation for another day, I guess.
Exactly right. So I can understand why he would say something like that, but it was his experience.
I'll tell you,
you can't discount his experience.
Yeah, and one thing that the one-liner he said was always bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that is so easy to say and so hard to do, but anybody can bet on yourself. No matter if you're a 40-year-old executive or whatever. I love that advice.
Let me ask you something. I've heard that before. What does it mean to you? Because it could mean a lot of different things. What does it mean to you?
If you're asking me, I think it just means have first of all, have confidence in your abilities in yourself and believe in yourself. I think if I boiled it down, that's what it translates in my mind anyway.
That's right.
But basically, same principle. I mean, take it like as a job. If you're let's just say you own a car shop, you're a mechanic. I mean, just bet on yourself that you're the best one around and the best one in your area, whatever. Stick, and just take that mentality into it. I mean,
so, Justin, is that what you're doing when you throw out some of the opinions that you throw out? You're betting on yourself?
I bet on myself. I got like an 80% win rate at this point. I will bet on myself any day.
Do you need Larry and I to give you more criticism to help develop you?
I think
Great question.
Or are you too thin-skinned to take it?
No, I think I get too much criticism. That's why I get so much right. I think that's the problem.
Well, listen, he's taking Tory's advice. He's internalized. He said, take the criticism as a compliment and run with it. So Justin is one of the most complimented guys in South Georgia.
That's right. Like I said, I took time off from the Facebook group, made one post today, and it's already got 6,000 views, and nobody else has come close in the last 3 months. I mean, it's just, people want to take my wisdom.
Man, I haven't even seen what you I've been working and trying to prepare for this show today, so I haven't even seen what you posted today.
I posted the top 5 most overrated teams going into this season, and number 1 I had was Lowndes.
Oh my! I just pulled it up, dude. Hold on, he's going to the penalty box for that one.
That's not
30-second penalty box.
Not constructive criticism, sir.
Listen, who's he got at number 2? Our pals from Thomasville.
List so we can.
Yeah, let's just go over this list while we're talking about it. While Justin's in the penalty box, he can't respond. So he's got. Let's do it Dave Letterman style. Let's start with number 5. According to Justin Haley, the most overrated teams headed into next. I want people to understand, if they're turning on this show just to this segment, this is not me talking. This is Justin Haley posting on Chris Pace's Facebook group. By the way, if you want to catch this, Chris Pace does a great job. South and Middle Georgia High School football page. Okay, there you go. So here we go. Hold on. This deserves a drum roll. Warner Robins, number 5. Irwin, number 4. Appling County, number 3. Thomasville, number 2. And the most overrated team, according to Justin Haley, heading into the regular season this fall, is your mighty Lowndes High Vikings. Justin, you were doing so well.
But it's here. It's
you were
based
doing so
on,
well. Oh my gosh, dude.
It's based on how you performed last year and what your expectations are this year.
Listen, I had a conversation the other day with someone, and I won't tell you who, but the conversations went something like this. Listen, I'm not going to censor anybody on my show. Sometimes they've got some strong opinions, and when they run afoul of what I think that line is, I'll put them in the penalty box or mute them or give strong pushback of what they're saying. And I was told, it's like, dude, it's your show. You're helping facilitate this. Like, wait a minute. No.
Not on Tuesday.
No. So anyway, this is everybody's show on Tuesday, the pregame Blitz. So, but I still have to push back hard, man. I cannot believe you would say Lowndes. Are you out of your mind?
It's like I said, based on last year's performance, what you expect going into this season and where you're going to end up.
Now, I would say, I'm not sure why you would say it's overrated, because according to that verbiage, you're saying that whether it's Lowndes fans or whoever, they think that Lowndes is going to shoot for the moon this year. That's our expectation, and according to you, we're basically going to fall flat. I'm saying you guys are thinking you're at least an Elite 8 Final Four team, even the first year, and I don't think you'll make it past the second round. Why didn't you say that instead of saying overrated?
I think that's probably reasonable.
It's overrated though by your fans' mindset, or by if you get a top 10 poll, it's overrated.
Well, I don't know very many fans that say that we are a Final Four team this year. I think that honestly, we're probably 8-2, especially learning a new offense. Like now, I hope that we're a 9-1 team, 10-0 team, and at least a Final Four team. Those are my expectations.
Well,
you also got to understand. Like I said, I haven't made a post in a month or two. That's also just to stir the pot and get views.
Now, as far as Lowndes goes, here's why I think that you think that Lowndes has. Well, first of all, we always have high expectations, but if you take a look at the track record of Lowndes over the last 5 years, something like that, going all the way back to Randy McPherson when he was there the last several years, you're talking about quarterfinals, semifinals, state championship, then Jamie Dubow's semifinal, quarterfinal. So I have no doubt any reason to think why we wouldn't make it back to at least the semifinals. I know that we're going to have a new quarterback, basically a rebuilt offense, new scheme. So I can understand why you would say something like that. I just don't like that word overrated when it comes to my Vikings, man.
Well, okay. So it's the same reason. So like Thomasville, you got players jumping ship going to Thomas County Central. Your best players already left. That's
the running back, right?
Yes, the running back. Their expectations being in AA from going from the championship last year is probably another run at the championship this year. I don't think they get close. 3A Appleton's dropping from 3A that made it to the Elite Eight last year and always has a big team. They're coming to AA thinking they're just going to run through AA. I think they fall well short in AA. And then
they still have their studs though from last year, if I understand correctly.
They've got a few. I think they got a good many, but that's what I mean. They think that they're going to roll through AA. I don't see it happening.
Well, this is their same region from last year. They can't. They got to get by Pierce before they can roll any further.
Yeah,
or there'll be a second seed even in the first round.
I like what Jennifer Green says. I'm gonna post this on the screen so Justin can see this. She says, "I'm going with the underestimated this year. Go Vikings."
You guys like to be politically correct too much in verbiage.
Now, Chase Garnto says, we're going to win the region regardless of what haters think. Haters going to say what haters going to say.
See, there goes my that's where my overrated comment comes in handy right there, because you got to do think that.
I think if someone expects an Elite Eight or Final Four, I think they're probably assessment's a little high for this year one. It could happen. I mean, but now, I think second round exits probably more likely than not. The second round can be very tough. You're running into another, sometimes another potential state champion in the second round.
Yeah. Now, Chase Garnto, I'm going to challenge Chase here. So Chase is all fired up. He's a big Lowndes guy. So Chase, I'm going to challenge you to call into the show 229-469-1205. And I want to hear you and Justin Haley go at it. Is it justified to expect Lowndes to make it to the semifinals or not?
And I don't want to make you lose sponsors.
Listen, while we're waiting on Chase, listen, I'll pick on Joey Rich. Here he goes. Here he goes.
He's sitting on go.
He's sitting on go. Hey, caller, welcome to the pregame Blitz. What's on your mind?
It might be Mrs. Chase.
Larry.
Chase. Chase, will you put this Haley guy in his place?
Family show.
If he, this is simple. To tell you how good Lowndes really is, show me another freshman unit that shows up with almost between 50 and 100 kids day one of spring practice. That's how excited these kids are. That's how excited these kids are to come play. Not only that, you've got a ton of returning talent minus Ja'Cory Brown.
Justin, you buying it so far?
The quality the quality over quantity. I mean, Jefferson County has 180 kids on their roster in AA, and they don't do anything yet almost every year. So that would be my counteraction to that.
Well,
and then you're coming in with really high expectations for the new coach and the new system. That's really what this boils down to.
With a young team,
Chase, let me frame this debate this way. I think Justin's point is you got a first-year coach, you got a lot of new faces at the coordinator position. So most fans outside of Lowndes would say, hey, you just hired a new coach, so it's really unreasonable or unrealistic. The better word is probably unrealistic, according to a lot of fans out there, to expect a new program like that, basically, to make it to the Final Four. But Chase, I know you, and I know how knowledgeable you are about the Lowndes program. You're looking at it from the talent perspective, right? What kind of talent do you see replacing someone like Ja'Cory Brown, who was basically the all-world quarterback at Lowndes. What kind of talent would be replacing Chase Belcher and the offensive line? Because basically that's what we're trying to get to here. Is the talent sufficient enough to replace those guys? Because those guys made it to the Final Four. They made it to state championship games. Are their replacements going to be enough or good enough to propel the Vikings to run that deep into the playoffs?
First off, I really hate using the word replace.
Okay, fair.
Because Lowndes, listen, at Lowndes, we don't rebuild, we don't replace, we reload.
I love it.
That's some more semantics, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
George is not buying it. You got to give us more.
No, it's just more. We talked about earlier the semantics.
You've got Smoke Fleming, who will fit in a lot better in Zach Grage's system than say a Jamie DeBose / for what me and Larry both agree on was more of a souped up, nitrous charged Randy McPherson offense.
Okay.
So Smoke will be able to get out of the backfield. He'll be able to be more of a flashback, more of a Christian McCaffrey type, if you will, because in my opinion of watching him, that's exactly the type of player he is. And this system will allow him to showcase that. You got the Parrish kid who's been taking a lot of snaps with the first string offense. And they're picking up Grage's system pretty quick. I mean, they're not sluggish at all about it. I mean, you got to understand these kids are some of the, everybody wants to look down on football players and think they're big, dumb, and just athletic. Most of these kids carry an extremely high GPA.
Guys, I'm gonna tell Justin and George something. I'm gonna throw out 3 names to be on the lookout for. Any of these guys could start at quarterback. So I'm gonna be interested to see who starts to separate themselves in the spring going into the summer. So be on the lookout for these names: Marvis Parrish, Brooks Best, and Tate Sermons. So remember those names, because one of those guys, maybe multiple guys, are going to do big things at that quarterback position before they graduate.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Look, Ja'Cory started because Ja'Cory was what Ja'Cory was. He was a once in the last, let's be realistic, once in the last, 5 years, 6 years talent?
Yeah.
I mean, we got lucky with having back-to-back quarterbacks in that caliber with Michael Barrett and then Ja'Cory Brown.
Right.
So, but here's the thing. We build a team. Y'all do understand what that means, right? A team.
Of course, yeah.
We don't build single players over here.
Okay.
I mean, but single players won the championship last year. You take Travis Hunter off of Collins Hill, they don't win that championship. Single players sometimes single-handedly carry you to a championship. When Lowndes,
if I'd have been the defensive coordinator at Lowndes, he wouldn't have made it out of that game without a bunch of bruises on him, because I've been pressuring him off the line.
All right, listen, before we turn this into a strictly Lowndes discussion, this is a Tuesday night pregame blitz. So I wanted to get Chase on the line to give him a chance to rebut what Justin was trying to sell, which I'm not buying. I think Lowndes is still going to make a deep run this year. Justin, you're laughing, man, but I'm telling you, come mid-December, you're going to call me up and say, bro, you were right.
Let me ask you a legitimate question. Last year, you take Ja'Cory 100% healthy. Last year, when you step on the field against Collins Hill, the top 5 players, which are part of the team overall, the top 5 players on that football field were all from Collins Hill. You could even say the top 7 were all from Collins Hill. You South Georgia talent, and the talent that the northern schools have is just on a different level when you come to skill positions. Wide receiver, cornerback.
I'm going to make a statement that if you're outside of the Lowndes camp, you're probably going to think, I can't believe Larry just said that. If we had a 100% healthy Ja'Cory Brown last year, Lowndes wins that game
against Collins Hill.
Yep.
You can. That's one of those. Okay. Fine. What are they, 50-0? What? Tell me your score, because
it was 49 to something, and they took everybody
if
out.
there, they're going to win 50-0, right? I'm just going to. Put
it would've been a
both
close
sides of the
game.
ball on.
I'll be realistic. Lowndes wins that
Please.
game against Collins Hill. It would have been a shootout. I'd say 38-35.
So how does Ja'Cory help you slow him up 14 points on defense?
Well, because you know
just
the
their year, guys.
offense.
Sorry.
Because in that game, Lowndes had 0 offense. We were punting after every 3 or 4 snaps. So if Ja'Cory's healthy, then we keep the ball a lot longer. That's how we keep.
Exactly.
So do I have to explain basic football to you, Justin?
That defense. That defense is one of the best defenses I've seen in the last 10 years, hands down, of Collins Hill. You're not scoring if you had Sam Horn back there from Collins Hill. That defense was that good.
I mean, it just is what it is. That's what I saw too. Now, even I will even say this: wasn't Belcher injured too?
Yes, Chase Belcher was out.
I would go so far as say you have them both, and you still lose by 2 or 3 touchdowns to last year's Collins Hill.
I have never done this to George, but he's going to the penalty box for that statement. I cannot believe my friend from Ware County. What in the world,
Larry.
George? Justin Haley has sucked you over to the dark side.
Larry, hold on just a second. I want to go back to the comment that I think Justin made earlier about the North Georgia talent versus the South Georgia talent.
Yeah.
It has absolutely zero to do with that. It's all, man, come on, let's be realistic. The schemes and the things that they run in the North versus what we do down here south of Macon is completely different.
Yeah.
They throw the ball all over the field up there. Okay. We don't. They run man up in your face defense. They pressure your receivers off the line. They don't allow you to set your feet in the pocket and throw because you don't have the time to. Okay. So if you change that mentality down here and you put man up pressure in front of these receivers and you start disrupting timing routes, which is what they do a lot of.
Yeah,
you change how Southern teams approach Northern teams, and you get more of an equal playing ground.
In that area, that what you just talked about, I think you and Justin are a lot closer in your beliefs, North versus South, than I think both of you realize.
And what I'm saying is I've said it on the show in the past. Your offensive linemen are going to be stronger down here, and your defensive linemen are probably going to be more athletic and stronger in the South. But what I was saying is your wide receiver, your cornerback positions that allow you to do those spread 5 wide and then play man up in your face defense.
Yeah,
they train harder on that all year round. Like they train. You know how a lot of kids around here play multiple sports, but they play baseball all year. You take baseball players. This is my example. They train those skill position players like baseball players play travel ball down here all year round. They're up there doing those camps all year round. They have more access. So when you get into that system and you put them in that different system than what you're used to seeing down here, along with how much they fine-tune those positions, that's why you see the big difference when you get like the Final Four in the state championship game, is because they are working at those positions all year round.
Sure.
With like NFL level talent, mind you, running clinics. And some of these are NFL offspring. You know, Gwinnett County has 1 million people. I mean, it's hard to look past that on the skill position side. Would you have that much talent, that concentrated, with that many former NFL, whatever, who could offer you a 20-minute drive to that type of clinic or camp? It's just it's hard for me to get in my head that you're going to have that same level down here. Natural talent, I don't think there's any difference because we have a great amount of talent down here.
Yeah. Well, Chase, listen, man.
Naturally talented players have got to start reaching out to these training programs that are in place down here in the South. That, you know, it costs a little money. Costs a little money for the parents, but like Tory, like James Carter alluded to earlier, as parents, you've got to put your kids in the best position to be successful. If that means you got to spend a little extra money to help train these kids, then spend that money.
I'll also go a step further and say not only the parents though. Sometimes, you know, some of these schools can step in and or even some coaches. My brother is a coach of a softball team and has sent 2 girls to the University of Georgia. Their parents weren't able to afford that kind of stuff, but he saw the talent, stepped up, and took them to camps, and were able to get them seen. So I mean, it's not. Yeah, I agree. It's the parents first and foremost, but sometimes some of these kids need some help. From the from coaches.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, Chase, thanks so much for your call tonight, man, and defending the honor of the Crimson and White.
Somebody's got to step up and help you, Larry.
That's right, man. We appreciate you always willing to do that.
Calling in, Chase.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
See you, man.
Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Chase is a passionate Viking supporter.
I love it. I love it.
You got to. I mean, hey, you got to. My thing is my loyalty still lies with Westfield, and I know that from now until 3 years from now, we're going to get beat down by John Millage every year. I also go to a ton of Fitzgerald games. So, but at the end of the day, I get to just travel and watch all these games and just give my blunt opinion because I'm able to do it. And so I don't have loyalty to anybody that's close enough to y'all for you to make fun of. So that's part of the goodness of what I get to do too.
I understand.
You're like the opposite of a politician. You, instead of shaking hands and kissing babies, you're calling everybody's baby ugly.
Number 1 rule in sales is what, George? Don't call people's babies ugly.
Don't talk about religion or politics. But
hey, some places and coaches love me. I think 80% of them don't, but that's all right.
Listen, we got to end the show, but Jackie Moy Fender puts it this way: the higher you set your goals, the further you go. Go Vikings! I love the way you think, Jackie. And that's what Tory and James Carter was talking about as well.
And they lived it. It's amazing to see the proof right there in the pudding.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jackie.
So if you're a Viking fan, if you're a Viking player, don't listen to this guy named Justin Haley. He don't know what he's talking about.
Nope, not one bit. I think I've put 115,000 miles the last few years traveling. Truth, not quite near that much, but truthfully, I just enjoy going and doing it. And most 90% of the time, if I say something, I'm just stirring the pot half the time just to get into a debate because
that was a Yogi Berra thing you just did, by the way. Did you catch that?
What did he say?
Rewind the tape. You said 99% of the time.
No, not 90% of the time because it's.
And then you said half the time. I'm just 90% of the time. Half the time, I'm just.
The thing, my point being is
I didn't catch that, George.
You don't.
Yogi Berra came out at me. Go ahead.
If I don't do it, sometimes you never get in football discussion. You never get. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes I'm too far one way. I get it, but if you never prod, if I'm able to go see a team 2 times or I'm able to go see a team 1 time, if you never prod a little bit, you'll never get into an actual football discussion, and it's always. Well, this team, I could go to every single game and write up a politicized report, about what X, Y, and Z did correct and what little bit maybe they could work on. Instead, I like doing completely both. What y'all did right, but what I thought y'all sucked on. I mean, I'm just, for lack of better words, it's right. Just,
what's reality? And at least you're,
at least mine anyway.
So we'll end the show on this note. Kind of ties into what we were talking about tonight and is also a Yogi Berra quote. He said this: if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else.
I end up someplace else a lot.
Especially when I'm talking to Larry going down the interstate and I miss my exit. But
absolutely. Happens all the time. I'm glad I could help you out in that way.
Absolutely.
So, guys, you guys have been watching the pregame Blitz. We missed our buddy Cole Moore. Hopefully he'll be back next week. For George Braddock, Justin Haley, who likes to stir the pot. We can start calling him pot stir. But that's okay because sometimes that spices up the flavors of life and keeps things from getting stale. So I don't mind that at all. I've been your host, Larry Godwin. You guys have been watching the Tuesday night pregame Blitz. Guys, just a programming note, I'll be going out of town Thursday morning working a convention, a medical conference. So we won't be having a show Thursday night, but we will be back next Tuesday night. So anyway, we will catch you guys then. So with that said, I know this is the pregame blitz. I'm going to say it anyway. Go Vikings.
Go Gators.
Go
And go
Hornets.
Westfield.
At the Ware County variety.
See you guys. We're out.
See ya.